You're watching Benchmark. As we mentioned in our top story, the LMD Nielsen Biz Confidence Index is currently at a 10-month high at 173. The index is now quite close to its all-time high of 178, where it stood almost 9 years ago. All indications are that the index will surpass the 178 mark soon. Here's Anushan Selvaraja with more.
Welcome to the Voice of Business. Joining me on the show this week is the Managing Director of the Nielsen Company, Shaheen Kader. Now, Shaheen, the BCI, which is at 173 at the moment, it's as close as it can be to its all-time high of 178, which was in December 2002. LMD is taking the view, based on prevailing ground realities and also the BCI's V-shaped trend, that the record will be broken sooner rather than later. How do you view this?
Yeah, the Business Confidence Index actually has reached this 173 level from about 160 something over a 12-month period. It's been a gradual increase. And the reason for its increase has been excellent company performances as well as decline in inflation being brought under control. And I guess that, with these two factors probably continuing to prevail, that we would soon see the day where the index would breach the 178 record that it has been having.
Now, Nielsen's latest Sri Lankan dashboard says that consumers are now spending more and that the consumer confidence index has picked up after going down in the two previous quarters. Can you tell us more about this and what your expectations are for the third quarter?
Consumer spending and consumer confidence picked up with the onset of the new year in April, which was followed by a noticeable decline in inflation in May and June. Traditionally, consumer spending declines in the third quarter from the peak in the second quarter. But this year the Yala harvest is expected to be a bumper one, and provided that farmers get reasonable prices for their rice, consumer spending in Q3 should remain at about Q2 levels, especially in rural areas which account for about 60% of consumer goods spending. Inflation is also unlikely to increase in the short and medium term due to the global slowdown and impacting commodity prices. So therefore, we feel that instead of coming down, the index should remain more or less where it was in Q2, in Q3, and so would consumer spending.
Shaheen, how much influence will the financial and economic turmoil in the US and the Eurozone have on sentiments here, given that they are key export markets for our goods and services?
Yeah, the sectors in Sri Lanka which are most exposed to the global downturn are garments and tourism, as these strongly depend on the US and European markets, Anushan. We may need to brace ourselves for an impact on the garment sector. But with tourism, I believe Sri Lanka is growing even now from a small base. And I don't really see this sector being significantly impacted.
How about the investment climate? The government says that the BOI's FDI target is on track and business people are also sounding very positive, now going by the outcomes of your latest poll. Will there be a pullback, as it were, because of the crisis in the West?
Well, the crisis in the West would affect business everywhere, I believe. FDIs in manufacturing would not really be forthcoming, I feel, but there would be investment opportunities existing in agriculture and fisheries due to Sri Lanka being one of the few countries with adequate water supplies for agro-based industries and with the relaxation of security restrictions in the fisheries sector.
Is the forthcoming budget affecting business confidence in any way at this time, do you think?
Yeah, Anushan, it's actually too early to comment. But I guess with the economy growing and inflation declining, it becomes easier for the government to reduce the budget deficit. So I would expect the government to consider a consumer-friendly budget that would further compound strong economic growth.
That was Shaheen Kader speaking to Anushan Selvaraja. Well, that's all we have time for. Hope you enjoyed the show. Do join us again next week.